Hi.
My name's J.C. McCauley.
I'm Naisha McCauley, and you're watching AccessTV.org.
Good morning, and welcome to another segment of All Politics is Local with your host, Councilwoman rJo Winch. Well, we've not met in a while since we've been doing Get Hip and Get a Grip with the young people and all the other things that are going on around in the community. But today I felt compelled to do All Politics is Local to discuss a local matter, and we're going to entitle this show, rJo, Why You Signed the Letter. Because I have gotten many calls from many of you saying, rJo, why you signed the letter. What letter was that? That was the letter that the remaining 8 members of the Hartford City Council put out last week. I think it was on the 20th or the 21st, a letter stating about the revelation of information that was brought to the council regarding our council president, which we definitely love and have reverence for. But sometimes, good people make mistakes. And I always say my favorite line is, I'm not the kill agent. However, I have to work with the other 8 people who are on the Hartford City Council, and each person had an opportunity to look at the draft of the letter and decide what kind of things that they could live with. So the comment should be, rJo, thank you for being in the room, because had I not been in the room, I don't think that the letter would have been as fair as the letter was when it came out. So I'm just going to read verbatim what the letter says, and I will point out to you the things that I agree with in the letter and the things that I don't. Because when you're working with a group of people, it's always about building consensus. No one person gets everything that they want. When laws are created, no one person gets exactly what they want to be in that law. And on the Hartford City Council with 9 people sitting, we basically operate the same way. So nobody gets exactly what they want, but you find out what people can live with. And this is a very unpleasant situation. And had the person who were making the accusations not made her statement public, I don't even think that the council would have felt compelled to even respond. But because her statements was public, the council leadership thought that it would be not a great idea. I don't want to use the word like it's something that, it's great to do, because everybody was feeling pain creating this document, but people wanted to show that, listen, we want to let people know that we don't think that sexual harassment or any type of harassment in the workplace should be condoned and not supported. So it says in the letter, we on the City Council have had opportunity to discuss these matters of sexual harassment among ourselves. And let me just say publicly for the record that not all of the instances had anything to do with sexual in nature. Because I think that the individual also said that she didn't feel safe in the workplace because there was some tension going on in there. So some of it was conflict resolution that could have taken place to resolve those issues, but the leadership did not see it as serious as the individual wanted them to. It says, trust has been broken, judgment called into question, and our ability to work together has been compromised. I absolutely do not agree with the concept of this sentence, but as it was explained to me, it didn't mean that the City Council alone could not work together, but it also included the working staff, that the staff members felt uneasy or whatever it is that they felt once they got the knowledge of the information that all of us had been shared. Based on the evidence presented to date, the conduct is unbecoming of an elected official. Therefore, we call for the council president to resign from his leadership role. If I had done, any of those things to be discreditable to you all, I would hope that you all would say, rJo, you know what, that's not appropriate, and you can no longer be a leader of us. So, because of that, whatever it isn't trying to be a kill agent, because I tell people I'm not a kill agent. I don't go out to kill people. Discipline, in my personal opinion, should be done so that the person changes the behavior, because that's basically what you want to do. You don't want to hurt people. You want them to change that behavior that caused them to go out and do whatever it is that they did. Because it said that individuals felt that the actions were unacceptable, and to ensure the environment where everyone feels safe and has a confident level to know that they can report any complaints to the appropriate authorities. And to my understanding, just to be fair about it, to my understanding, the individual said that they had also reported the information to the town clerk. So I'm not leaving, him off the table, because the town clerk also, while he didn't do anything wrong, he did fail to act. Meaning that when the individual came to him, and he's the overseer of our office when the council is not there, because they're full-time employees, we're part-time employees. So the full-time employees are supposed to be monitored or under the direction in the council's absence of the town clerk. So if the town clerk, being aware of the situation that the individual felt, should have also acted to make sure that there was the least harm being done in the workplace to that individual, or attempted to correct the action and then inform the leadership of what he did to make that happen. So, and it also states in there that the council president should also step down from the council. I'm not in favor of that either. Like I said on the onset, sometimes good people just make mistakes. So I think that he can serve out the remainder of his term, and still respond to the people that he got elected by to service. I don't think that it's so detrimental, the behavior, that, well, now you need to be off the city council. For the record, no, I don't think that that's what he needs to do either. So as the letter is signed by the other 7 council members and myself, which makes the 8 council members, so it's a body of 8 out of 9 who built a consensus around responding to the allegations that the individual made public. So I just want to get to the elephant in the room, or the elephant on the screen, about what happened with my aide and another employee at City Hall, where there was an altercation between these 2 individuals, which I was current and present at that altercation. And I had instructed her not to engage with the other individual, which she did. So for that behavior, I gave her a letter of reprimand, because when I asked you to do something, and I'm supposed to be the supervisor and you're supposed to be the subordinate or the staff person, I asked you to respect what I asked you to do. So that not happening, I gave her a letter of reprimand. Then 6 months later, the council, the administration had hired an attorney to go over all the matters of things that had occurred. Then 6 months later, so this was an event that started in January. So she got her letter of reprimand maybe a week after the incident had happened. And then we were informed that the city was going to launch an investigation, which I thought that this was a matter that could have been handled with her supervisor and his supervisor, where the 2 of us would have gotten together and determined how we, would discipline our employees for this behavior. But when I got called to the Human Relations office, it was only to let me know, oh, we're sending this out to a third-party investigator. So that kind of rubbed me kind of bad, because I'm like, okay, so you could have told me that over the phone. You had me come into City Hall so you could tell me that you were going to waste money to send out an investigation to do something that I thought myself and the other supervisor could have handled with our own individual employees. So for the people who say, well, why didn't you go by the recommendation? Because I thought the recommendation was very harsh for an individual who had good performances at work, not good performance, excellent performances at work, who was there to service not only myself and my office, but several other council members' offices in the absence of their aides. So to terminate that individual for a one-time incident that may have occurred, I thought was very harsh. So I did not follow the recommendation that was made to me. And bear in mind, it's a recommendation, which means you can take the recommendation and do the action, or not. So when I looked at both sides and I weighed this longtime employee who's been in the city for over 10 years, serves as a supervisor, a union president, has a history of violence in the workplace to include spitting on, supervisory staff, bullying other subordinates in the office, and, multiple sexual harassment awareness seminars and classes. So that person, in my opinion, should have got a harsher punishment than the person who comes to work every single day, does her job. And this was a one-time incident that occurred. So I didn't see where her punishment should have been much harsher than his, because I guess her argument was louder than his. No, this is a person who has a history of violence in the workplace. So my question would be, why is he still employed? You want me to terminate her for a one-time incident, but he has multiple years of multiple incidences and still is an employee at the city of Hartford and still is a supervisor and still bullies his employees. And mind you, this all started because the work was not getting done inside the council office. The maintenance work was not being done. The elevators were disgusting. The floors were not getting vacuumed. It was not getting dust. And if we do the work ourselves, the union wants to grieve us because that's union work. But they're not getting the job done. So I'm pressuring her to call DPW to get the job done. And then he's upset because his supervisor is getting on him and disciplining him. So in my personal opinion, I think his comments was retaliation because of the discipline that he was receiving. And at no time, was she the agitator, of him. I've instructed her, I've changed her route, changed where she parked, changed her work hours, tried to avoid them even having contact with one another, and he still finds a way to ensure that he parks somewhere near her, that he's able to just do little bitty things that are not exactly illegal, but things that keep being an antagonist. So this is retaliation. And let me remind you, because he was a union president, he knows the buzzwords to use to get the public attention. He knows the buzzwords to say to get things heated up and get things going and to blow things up bigger than they were, because she gave him an unwanted hug, which I thought that, I'm looking at this and saying, okay, well, maybe they're making up. It's like, okay, you know what? Let's have bygones be bygones, and we're just going to brush this under the rug and get back to work. Because mind you, I was there. This is what people fail to understand. While you telling me about what happened, I was right there. And what he says happened did not happen in the manner that he said it happened. Yes, she did give him a hug, but I gave him a hug too, because I knew him before I came to City Hall. I knew her before I came to City Hall. I knew TJ before I came to City Hall. So I know these people. They're like a little bit older than my own daughter. So I don't want to see any of them hurt. I'm not the kill agent for any of them. I want all of them to learn from their mistakes and build on from it. Do any of them need to be terminated? I don't think so. I think they need to learn from their behavior so that they can be effective employees to service the residents of the city of Hartford. Because at the end of the day, that's why each and every one of us signed on to do these jobs, signed on to be an elected official. Do I think that the former council president can be an effective council member? Oh, absolutely. Does he add value to the team? Oh, absolutely he does. Did he make a mistake? He said he did. He apologized for making the mistake. But in my personal opinion, that's where it should end. Nobody should be trying to kill him because he made a mistake. He learned from the mistake, and I have every reason to trust that moving forward that he's going to be more conscious of his leadership position as an elected official, because they're all in the same age group. So I guess, I'm assuming, he let his guard down. He thought they were friends, that they can have those kind of conversations. But a lesson learned for each and every one of you and for us, that if you're subordinate, you got to be careful and tread lightly on what conversations you have and things that you share, because at some point when you have to discipline that individual, you want to be able to do that with a clear conscience and know that you did the right thing. So do I think that I took the right level of punishment, for my aide? Yes, I do. Because she's an excellent worker, and it was a one-time mistake with her getting into an argument with the individual who both of them said some things that I know that they regret today that they said them. And as far as the sexual harassment which was going on, I don't see it. I really don't see it. I think it was just an effort to make up and say, you know what, let's just let bygones be bygones. You have friends, and you know how you are with your friends. Sometimes y'all agree with each other, and sometimes you don't. And when you make up, you shake hands, you high five, you give a hug, or whatever it is that you do to say, you know what, this is over, let's just forget about that and get back to business. So I ask that you all, if you want to continue to call me, 860-462-5063. My phone stays on 24/7. It's ringing now. You all can call me. I'll respond to you. I'll answer the questions. The big issue of the year probably is, rJo, why you signed the letter? I signed the letter to ensure that the original letter was not the letter that went out, because that was not pleasant. And it was not even taking in the human factor of this is somebody that we know. This is somebody that we care about. We're not trying to hurt him. So I was not going to let that letter go out and say those things. Am I going to tell you what those things were? Absolutely not. Because I need to also protect the integrity of the council body where I currently sit. But I will tell you, it would not have been pleasant. And it was much more derogatory than what people think this letter was that actually did go forward. So I ask that y'all, just pray for us. Pray for us that we continue to work diligently for you. Because it's you who elected us to work for you. And we want to do everything that we possibly can to make that happen to the best of all of our abilities. Do I speak for the council? No, I do not. But I would assume that that would be their message, that all of us are trying to do the best that we can for the residents of the city of Hartford, and ask you all to continue to pray for us and help us, and do come down, to City Hall and make your comments and make your feelings known. And I appreciate you. Whether you agree with me or you don't agree with me, that's fine. We're not in Saudi Arabia in a war zone somewhere. We're in the city of Hartford trying to do community service and do our community business jobs as elected officials to the community and the residents of the city of Hartford. So I see you again either on Get Hip and Get a Grip or another special segment of All Politics is Local. But at all times, you already know, keep it locked on accesstv.org.